This is the podcast overview for week 9. We will be covering chapter 7, interpersonal attraction, close relationships, and love. Here is your to-do list for this week. You do have an exam this week. Your objectives for chapter 7 are here, and you can click right here and get an overview of each of these where I discuss sort of each of these key areas of the chapter. The article for this week is here, and this is a different labeling than your syllabus. I noticed your syllabus also said article number 20, which is incorrect. I think I just messed up a lot of these articles when I was creating the syllabus. But the correct one that goes with this chapter is article 19. It's entitled Why I Hate Beauty. And so that is attached here that you can use for your discussion posting. The lecture slides are here for chapter 7. And then I just have a few videos for you this week. This one deals with proximity and the mere exposure effect. So you'll read about this in the textbook. This is one of the key elements, the key reasons we gravitate towards some people and not others. What are the factors that influence us to become friends with people? And proximity and exposure are definitely two of those key factors. So that's just a short video about that, kind of reiterating what's already in the book. And then I have this video called Secrets of Beauty. And this is actually done through my psych lab, put out by Pearson. So you're going to, when you click onto this link, you're going to actually then have to select the video on the right-hand side that has this title, Real Life Application, Secrets of Beauty. And it talks about some key areas of research that study the relationship between physical symmetry of the face. We're talking about physical features of the face being symmetrical, and what it has to do with our ideas of attractiveness. So this also reiterates what's in the book, and I love it because it's sort of like bringing the research to life for you. So good to watch after you've read the textbook already. This is a pretty interesting video. Semi-science-y. It's called The Science of Attraction, but it looks at the halo effect. And this is talked about in your book as well. And it gives you kind of a in-action example of how the halo effect operates in real life. So I think you'll enjoy this video, and it's short too. And then your last short video covers Sternberg's triangular theory of love. So you're going to learn about the different elements that Sternberg said were important for a love relationship. He talks about intimacy, passion, and commitment as being kind of the three key areas of love. But then there's a mixture of these three things that create for different categories around the triangle that you're going to learn about that could make or break a loving relationship. You're going to see what is necessary of these three to have to make a love that lasts. So quick video, and again, it also piggybacks on what you're reading about in the text. Your discussion this week, you're going to be integrating both Chapter 7 and Article 19 into your answers as support. So you'll want to be citing examples from those readings and even from the videos if you see fit. The first question asks, what specific images of attractiveness are presented in the media today? So when you look around in the media today, that could be social media, that could be TV, movies, ads, print ads, whatever it is. What types of images of attractiveness are presented? What kinds of things do we see as attractive in both men and women, right? Find some media images of physical attractiveness from the 1950s and 60s And then you're going to compare. So here you're going to, kind of do some internet searching, and see what was considered attractive for men and women in the 50s and the 60s, and then talk about the difference between then and today, in those images, and how have we shifted in our ideas of what represents beauty. Now, you're all going to be coming from a Western perspective, and that's understandable. You live in a Westernized culture and society. I would expect your answers would be quite different if you lived in an Asian country or a Middle Eastern country. So I'm keeping that in mind, that cross-cultural difference. But here in America, in the US, how has beauty changed over the decades? So that's your question to attack. And if you can integrate in some of what you read, because they're in the readings, it talks about that, please do. That's your opportunity to cite support. And then the second question deals with the article, and this issue of what's called the contrast effect. So you're going to want to understand, what is the contrast effect? First and foremost, how does it operate? And how constant exposure in our lives to images of very attractive people might leave us less satisfied with our real life partners, peers, friends, whoever. Okay. So you're, number one, you're explaining what the contrast effect is and how it operates. And number two, you're then using it to explain how we are affected by sort of a bombardment today of lots of images of very attractive people. I mean, we're living in a world with our phones all the time at our fingertips. And the images that come to us are often people's very best side, right? I mean, even everyday normal people now can make themselves look different, and pose a side of themselves they want us to see. Well, how does that leave us feeling? Like when we then look at our own partner, that we're with in real life, are we satisfied? Do we even think about that? How it might affect our satisfaction with our real life, partners. So that's what you're talking about in the first part. And then besides beauty, so put beauty aside for a minute, what other images conveyed by the media might also produce contrast effects? So the contrast effect works with beauty and attractiveness, and that's really how it's talked about in the book, but it also works with other things too, material items and such. So talk about that a little bit. And how does that result in us being less satisfied with what we actually have in life and desirous of what we constantly see in the media, right? So this is a sort of a materialistic sort of question. But this affects everybody, because the contrast effect is powerful, and the media is powerful, and how we let that seep in can affect our happiness in life, and how satisfied we are with who we're with and what we have. So that's the question to tackle for the discussion. And then you have your third exam, which is going to cover chapters 5 and 6. Same format as usual. Please remember that you have those Pearson resources through Revel. So if you haven't been one that's been using those, you've been maybe not doing as well on the exams, I encourage you to do that. Some of you are doing great on the exams, you're doing fine, and then others of you are not so much, but I also can go into Revel and I can see how many people are using it, how many people are accessing the practice quizzes and the videos, and it's not a lot. So, maybe you don't need it, but if you haven't yet checked it out and you don't know what's there, then you're definitely missing out. So I would encourage you to see what's there and see if that might not be able to help you in studying and preparing for the exam. Also remember that you have until Sunday to take the exam. Anytime people are taking the exam early, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it kind of gives me pause for concern, because I feel like that might not be an adequate amount of time to work through the material and study and give yourself a chance for, your most optimal performance there. But keep in mind that I am available if you'd like to Zoom or ask questions, or just pick my brain before you're taking that test. Please reach out to me via email.